Hey everybody, Dr. Woodall again, the Resilience Doctor. I want to pick right up on where we left off at the first video and move right into the next tendril of that seed that we planted with the first activity. Let's get right into where that seed is growing. Where is it going? And this will be a short and sweet video. Now, what I want to tell you about before I do that is tell you about a really wonderful man who's since passed away. His name was Stuart Hauser. And Stuart Hauser, Dr. Stuart Hauser, was the director of something called the Judge Baker Children's Center at Harvard. And in 1997, he asked me to join the faculty there. That was my third different stint at Harvard, the third and final one. But Stuart was a pioneer of the field of resilience. And he did a study that lasted a couple of decades, looking at what were the factors that resulted in a child growing into a resilient adult. And there were many, many factors that fed into a resilient life for a child growing into an adult, but they could all be summarized by saying that they were skills that created quality connections to other people. Isn't that interesting? Anything that facilitates quality connections to other people winds up being resilience building. And we're going to talk about that in much more detail in the coming videos. So now let's talk about what we do from that initial activity we had with the first video to this next one. Remember we talked about we want to be able to help our kids see strengths in themselves that they can start to identify as being really valid, that whatever external things people are using to judge each other or to judge them, they need to know with examples and experience the kind of qualities they have. Remember we used that example? Let's say one of your kids says something about how somebody let them down or something. Anything that has an emotional charge to it, listen for that in your child. And the activity we said we wanted you to do is, as you're listening on one level to what they're saying about what hurt them, you know, their friend didn't show up for something or took their stuff or someone was unfair to them in some way, or something really inspired them or they were really charged about it in some way. While you're listening to them tell that story, listen on another level also. Listen at a second deeper level and be listening for resilient strengths that they're demonstrating in that story. So they might be talking about, the friend who didn't show up. Let's say, I think I used that in the first video. And so you might say, well, that really tells me how much you value loyalty. It really shows me how you really value fairness in relationships. You're a fair person and you want to be a loyal person. And you sound like you'd be a really good friend and you're a loving, caring person. As long as you can connect something they actually did right in front of you with one of those qualities, you should repeat it or you should say it. Remember I said go to the web page, not the web page, the Facebook page, My Resilient Life, and there's a list of resilient strengths on that page. What I'm trying to do is condense decades and decades of research into just practical do this kind of activities. So you don't have to read all the books. You don't have to go to a million therapists. Just do these things, and these will help build resilience in your kids, in you, and in your family. So now, I hope you've been doing that exercise as often as opportunities have allowed since the first video. Looking for those skills as your child is telling you something that they feel strongly about and telling them, all right? Now, what that next tendril is, where we're going with that seed, now that it's pushing up out of the soil a little bit, we want to connect that strength to someone in the circle of the family, okay? Remember what Dr. Hauser said, that resilience can be summarized as the ability to have quality relationships. Isn't that interesting? So let's start with the family. The next time you see your child talking in an animated way and you're able to spot some of those strengths, tell your child those strengths that you see, refer to that list if you need to, and then tell a story about someone in the family who also has that strength. You see? See how that makes the connection with resilient strengths between one family member and another, right? A grandparent, an uncle or an aunt or a cousin, a sibling, yourself or your spouse or the child's other parent. Don't make it fake or phony. Make sure it's something authentic and real and immediate. And this begins to make connections in the family that are based on resilient strengths. Now, the next set of videos are really important. We're going to talk about how to think about structuring this in the family. So I've got a whole bunch of things to tell you in the next several videos. Please don't miss out on those. I'm going to be posting them on that Facebook page, My Resilient Life. And if you give me an email, I'm happy to send them to you in email too. Share them with people who you think need this. We really got to do something to help our kids deal with the anxieties and the uncertainties that they're experiencing in themselves and in the world around them. These resilient strengths will get them through. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed doing it. Share it with anybody you'd like. Post any comments you'd like, changes you're seeing in your relationship, good and bad. Ask questions, offer comments to other folks on the My Resilient Life Facebook page, My Resilient Life. Okay, thanks everybody. See you at the next video.